You never know what's really taking place in the background in this room when we start the Great Northern Sex Cast. Colleen Bertino, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been I think winter started about an hour and a half ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. And Miss Megan.
Windier to hell. There's like 2 flakes swirling.
It was the ice in the parking lot. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Like,
I am terrified. Ever since I busted my ankle, you should see how paranoid I am about ice.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and Miss Megan's here. Hello, Miss Megan.
Hello.
Along with me, Kelly Guest. Winter, like yesterday, was unbelievable. I mean, I was out there walking the dogs at 40 degrees and it was lovely. So this is weird, you guys. So a couple of things. My Thanksgiving's a couple weeks in the rearview mirror already, but my sister's youngest son, who's in his 30s, I might add, brought the first girl home for a holiday ever. Ooh. Okay. And she's really awesome. And she's currently a 4th grade teacher, but she is just now celebrating her 2nd master's degree that she finished. Who does that? I don't know.
Smart people.
Yeah. But she wants to be a sex therapist. Okay. Right. Now, we all knew this, before she came. There was no judgment on it. Yeah. Okay. So the first night they're all arriving and blah, 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 blah. So I'm thinking, okay, this will be interesting. But it was not on my agenda to bring up anything about, one of the activities that I engage in every week, but my sister does. Mm-hmm. Well, Kelly works with the Fantasy Gifts crew and they do a podcast called the Great Northern Sex Cast. And she's like, really? So everything goes fine. And I said, so tell me, I understand, you're interested in doing some sex therapy. And then she goes, Christian-based. Yes. And then she kind of goes into this thing about how that views sex toys as controversial. So it's like, I have not known this woman for 10 minutes. And I'm like, okay.
No, there's a I saw it years ago, a Christian sex toy company, but they will only sell to married couples. But at no point on the website does it ask you to prove that you're married. So I've never quite figured out how that worked.
Well,
it's fascinating. I mean, people use whatever, if they need that website to get something that works for them, fine.
Well, and you know what? I didn't know her well enough. I did not want to get into the conversation because I didn't know her. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to break this whole thing out right here, and then. But through the weekend, she seems like a pretty cool person, and I'm sure we can have a conversation later. But it was one of those things where it's like, I'm not saying that, I'm not sure entirely that she was saying she condemned sex toys by any means, but it just was not something that I wanted to unpack in the first 15 minutes of knowing a person.
Hi,
you know what I mean?
Nice to meet you. What are your views on vibrators?
Well, and how many? Right, and I mean,
welcome to Thanksgiving.
Hi, this is Kelly. She also has an interest in sex. Why don't you two just go talk?
I've heard that one before.
It's like, are you kidding me? Yeah, it was. But that said, my nephew.
Well, that means he's not getting laid. I'm sorry. I know it's your family, but
I think he is.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm totally getting dog butt here.
Yeah, well, he's doing it over here now. All of a sudden, yeah.
The puppy's here.
Megan, can you see it? Can you look? He's upside down. He's upside down.
He's twerking.
Yeah, he's twerking.
Yes.
The dog.
Yeah, against my knees here, and that's moved on.
Fred the studio dog is twerking. That's the most accurate depiction. But that said, as the weekend went on, my nephew said to me, he goes, Kel, how do I find, the show? And I told him basically where to find us. But I told him he's got to listen to the first Mrs. Sin appearance with the waffles and the whole thing where she completely blew all of us out of the water. So I was Googling it just before you guys walked in because I wanted to send him a link. So this is literally a show that's of ours that's almost 2 years old now. And so I was Googling Great Northern Sex Cast. My gosh, we get a lot of results, including but not limited to in Russian.
Oh, that's awesome.
I just saw that. Look, we've got Cyrillic.
Oh,
in more than one result. Oh. Yeah. And there's one place that's called, well, let me back up here. It's a Mixcloud site, it looks like. And it's like sexual health. Anyway, yeah, Mixcloud, fun and health shows, Mixcloud. So we're listed in indexes that I didn't know we were appearing in. And I just discovered that as you guys were walking in.
Yeah, I haven't Googled us in a while, but I have, done that because occasionally, I guess, is it iTunes or iHeart where things just sort of tend to disappear and then pop back up?
iHeart in particular, I have trouble finding ourselves on iHeart.
It's like you can find it. It's awkward. Like if if you put it in directly, you can find it, but if you search in general, you can't. I don't know. It's very weird, and I know they've been working on it for a while, but it's just a funky thing. But we're there.
Yeah,
but
apparently just Google us, and you can find all kinds of ways to listen.
Awesome.
When I have time later, I'm going to go through and push one of the Cyrillic sites and just see what happens. I want to know if we're translated. That would be, then we for sure will have arrived.
Hello to our comrades.
I know, right? Right? Okay, by the way, so speaking of that, just wondering, because I saw a Krampus-related Facebook post by someone this morning, and I was wondering what the holiday prep for you guys looks like so far.
It looks like a very harried staff. I have not been all that useful. I mean, dealing with the asthma and then the stuff like that, so I'm feeling sort of guilty. But our warehouse is down to only 5 pallets that are they're unplastic wrapped, and they're going through. We're actually going through that in our Tuesday meeting. Like, okay, what's coming in? And like, okay, we've got the Dawn is coming out. Make room for that. We've got the new G-Spot toys. Make room for that. Like, I go, what else we got to make room? Well, we've got Ineros coming in, the planograms for some of the stores. Make room for that. And so they're desperately trying to get everything unpacked, taped, and priced. And Megan and Michael are trying to figure out how to put it in the store. And then this past week, when we should have been going through pallets of merchandise, we put up 2 massive Rabbit Company displays, which is our at our Burnsville and Coon Rapids stores. And these came in like crates that you saw, like when they showed the big wooden crates. It was like
something a mummy would get shipped in.
Yes,
Right.
That's
Okay.
exactly what it looked like. And so we had
There was no Brendan Fraser inside.
Bum out.
He's not aged well. Okay, well, moving on from that.
Well, then I'm glad he's not inside. I would have taken him 10 years ago.
Yeah, and early Brendan Fraser.
Yes.
Tarzan. No, not George.
Monkey Bone Brendan Fraser. Oh, God, no. Oh, he makes terrible choices. That was a tangent. Let's move on.
And so we got those together, and now we're back to the pricing. But I do know that right now in Fantasy Gift Land, we're getting ready, but everyone's, they're taking care of their kids and grandma and stuff like that. And then once all that's taken care of, then people sit back and they're like, well, what do I want to buy for me?
Right. See, that's the problem with working in retail. And I've worked my fair share in my life, is that I always left half my paycheck at work.
Oh, we have that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it has to happen to you too.
I've had employees yell at me. I'll bring in this lingerie in particular. Like, I'll bring in something really cute. And they're like, oh, damn it, Liz. Now I'm going to have to buy this.
But that's the rule. It's like we have stuff going through there, but I was like, I don't really want to, I just like in the office, I'll find, payment on my desk that says bought stuff, which I'm fine with because I don't want, I don't need to know.
You don't need an itemized, detailed inventory of every.
Just bought stuff, post it on my desk.
Oh, can I really? I had a friend who she wanted me to get stuff for her. I'm like, I can't really do that. But her guy sent me this list, and it was like
extensive.
A lot of and kinky stuff. It was all like floggers and clamps and rope and everything. And so I had it in my pocket for the longest time because I kept forgetting to go take a look in the warehouse. And then I was out shopping for my mom one day, and it fell out of my pocket, and my mom picked it up, and she's like, well, Sex and Mischief swing. What's this? It's like, oh, I swear to God, it's a shopping list for someone else. I don't know if that makes it any better.
Yeah, the things that we know about our friends. Which, like I said, I'm always, I'm more, I don't know, honored, pleased, whatever, that someone feels comfortable enough to share with me, they get questions or this or that, than I've ever felt awkward about it. It just, but that's me in general. I mean, I've never been particularly awkward about talking about things. I mean, hell, I'm going to have I don't want to pee in my pants surgery next Wednesday, and I talk about that, and I'm on the podcast right now.
See? Perfect case in point.
Yeah, and I talk about that because a lot of women don't talk about that, and they suffer, and I think that's bullshit. So
Yeah.
I'm just not, so if folks want to, share with something with me and I keep it, but I won't share their stuff here because it's their stuff.
Right.
I just share my stuff.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, on that kind of note, Megan, since you've had a list fall out of your pocket, what would you guys, off the top of your heads, quick rapid fire, what would you say is hot for the holidays that you guys have around fantasy gifts right now? What do you think are going to be the biggies this year?
Well, we have so many new items in. I mean, there's the new items from the Rabbit Company, and then there's the new items from the Kama Sutra Company, and then we just got a new line in from California Exotic, and I could see myself in this vibrator. It was a mirror finish, a G-spot vibe, and so a lot of the stuff is sparkly.
Okay,
and I think
you love that.
I like the sparkle, and it sells for the holidays. And we're getting in. We brought in a huge Donna line a few years ago, but I would say 80% of the stuff didn't sell. So we're bringing in the stuff that did sell, which is massage oils, lotions, and massage candles. And so that's in one of the palettes, and that'll be out in a couple of weeks.
It's such a beautiful gift. Like, it looks like you would get it at Bath and Body or something.
The black box from is that the one that you showed on the first?
No. The Kama Sutra is the vibrator, but this is the massage oil line.
Okay,
Yeah, the Donna.
okay.
Yeah, but it's just done really, really well. And then I've already noticed online that we're selling just the Christmas lingerie. So over this weekend, there were quite a few sales. And what's nice about that is that it's really cute little body covers and red and white things, and we have a little naughty hat, and it just, people are just like, they what they do is they'll add more things. If they came in for a vibrator, they definitely add the lube and the massage oil and the card at the holidays, instead of just coming in and getting like the one thing. And honestly, gasoline at $2 or around $2, that's always a useful thing. Always a useful thing. But we get early Christmas because we go into the warehouse and I see the stuff that's being priced, and I'm like, ooh,
Pretty.
And I think the sport sheet stuff that we got in the purple boxes, the
Midnight line is gorgeous.
It's all sparkly, but it's definitely more feminine because it's got lace and little pearl accents and sparkles. There's a lot of, but these are not sparkles that are going to get in the way of things. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? So they're restrained sparkles. They work really well because a lot of folks are like, well, how do I take care of that? But they're just in the right spots. We got sparkle butt plugs in. There's a lot of bling this holiday season.
Cool.
I like sparklies.
I know. Well, this is one of the cuter stories I think I've run across in a while, guys, and it involves a pair of newlyweds, pre-sex. So imagine this. We've all been to these weddings where it's like, an hours and hours long event where the wedding is one place and then there's maybe a time lapse and then the reception is someplace else. Well, they got stuck behind a pretty significant accident on an Ohio freeway. And it was like an hour-long thing. So people around them, everybody's sitting around and you get bored and you start looking around and whatever. And so people goaded this married couple into doing their dance on the road. So somebody
they did their first dance on the
highway. Isn't that cute? And so
so in other words, there must have been a group of folks that they knew too. Well, it couldn't have just been random strangers. I'm sure were there too.
Oh, they were into it though.
Okay.
It was kind of a big deal. And the song was "When You Say Nothing at All," and their videographer was in the group, so the videographer got it. And so then they started having hashtags. All these people are to rescue the Pains, because their last name is Payne, Payne, on social media. But it's really, really cute, though. Just one of the more feel-good kind of stories that we've seen.
I love adorable.
Isn't that cute? That's really cute. I love that. So congratulations to the newlyweds who just said, screw it. We're going to celebrate right here.
At least they didn't consummate.
Yes.
The wedding
Yes.
right there.
Yeah,
on
really,
the road.
because when I'm looking at that and I saw newlywed, I'm like, okay, dance, but going through there, I said, does it involve nudity? Because, it's sort of like, I like it sometimes when things don't involve nudity.
Yeah.
You get nudity, it has its place.
Well, I'm going to jump right to the nudity now, though. The Devil Vulva cartoon that you sent me. Oh, my Lord. Colleen, take it away.
This popped up on my Facebook feed. I don't remember where it was from, and then I couldn't figure out who I sent it to. But I giggled over it because the headline was vulvas. officially scarier than Satan. And then, of course, I mean, I'm looking at that. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's clickbait that I'm going to click on. And it's a cartoon from the 1800s. It's sort of like a woodblock cut thing. And it's from the trustees of the British Museum. And it shows the devil being chased off by a woman lifting her skirt and, underwear sort of, they're not wearing any underwear and, showing off her vulva. And it's very prominent. And it's just, it's like, I love
and Satan is like cowering and cringing away.
It's the half goat, half human, horned, actually it sort of looks like Krampus.
It does look like Krampus with an uncircumcised penis, I might add.
Oh my God.
Did you catch that?
Let me take a closer look.
Yeah, it is. And the whole, yeah. But it's just, I'm sure that, have we posted that yet? Or not? Or
no,
okay to be on there?
I sent the link over, so it'll be up this week.
I'm just giggling. And it was just, and there's a poem underneath.
Oh, the poem's classic.
And it is just, let's see. Once on the time, the sire of evil, in plainer English called the devil, some new experiment to try. Chloe cast a roguish eye, but she who all his arts defined pulled up and showed her sexist pride, a thing all shagged about with hair. So much it made old Satan stare, who frightened at the grim display, takes to his heels and runs away.
So really, though, is he afraid of her vulva, or is he judging her for not doing a Brazilian?
I don't know.
That's a really good question. That's a very, very good question.
Either way, mind your own business,
but,
Satan.
Here's the thing. Okay, can we just like break this down for just a second, guys, gals rather? So if a vulva was so scary and they're making cartoons that this thing, if you get a look at this thing, it's going to make Satan turn tail and run. How is it that the human race has continued, and why do so many guys still want to go there? I'm just asking.
It's like the poison apple, right? You want, you want what's forbidden, what's dangerous.
Yeah,
that's my guess.
I don't know. I just like the fact that they're calling it this one the hairy hoo-ha, the wiggling her woo-woo. I mean, really, the story that goes with this is
pretty funny.
Yeah, but I was thinking the same thing too. If it's so incredibly awful, there are almost 8 billion people on this planet right now. So at what point?
Somebody's gotten over this.
I mean, but it just it's I don't know, it just made me giggle.
Me too.
It made me giggle greatly. We'll put it up there, and if
do you think you can post it, Meg? Do you think
it'll
go
yeah,
up?
it's a cartoon. Yeah, it's a woodcut. There's the artwork is pretty entertaining. She's got this great face on her because it's like, ha ha ha.
Take that.
Take my vulva powers.
She's got cute little shoes on.
I'm expecting like laser beams to be shooting out with the looks on their face.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. No, we got to put that up. And that's the beautiful thing about the Great Northern Sex Cast page on Facebook is, Megan, you literally are so great at, putting everything that we've discussed up throughout the course of the week. So you'll be able to find it.
Oh yeah. We don't bombard. I can't even speak.
Bombard.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't get everyone because I try to spread it out a little. So it's not like, here's 8 stories in once. I'm going to take up your whole feed. We're not BuzzFeed, all right?
No. We have 2 baskets that we're giving away in social media, and we're getting so much lovely response from it. It's really great. So
what are they?
It's on Twitter and on Facebook. You have
Instagram too,
and stuff like that. So you can go to the Fantasy Gifts. Pages on these 3, and then you like or comment or hashtag. Each thing has their own deal, and then Mike can set it up.
Yeah, it's we have the 2 gift baskets, and they're slightly different. One's a little more bondage, and so I took pictures with them. One's got a unicorn and one's got a gnome. And then all you have to do is like the picture and comment, which basket would you like? Are you team unicorn or team gnome? And then we'll know, obviously, all the gnome people will be in a drawing, the unicorn people in a drawing. And that is pinned to the top of our the Fantasy Gifts main page. And it is also on the Great Northern. I shared it on the Great Northern as well. Cool. With Twitter, you can just retweet whichever one if you want gnome or No More Unicorn. Same with Instagram. You just like it and essentially like and comment across any of the 3 platforms, and you'll be entered to win.
Yep, and we'll pull the name. We'll private message you. We're gonna pull, I think the Wednesday or Thursday before New Year's. So you'll have because New Year's Eve we're open to 8:00.
Okay.
So you'll be able to have time to get it picked up before New Year's Eve.
Sweet.
And then I found out today, I didn't know because I saw them making them. Each of the stores is going to have a little mesh stocking filled with goodies that you can enter to win at each store.
Oh,
so
nice.
Tara's just been going gangbusters because we're getting all this new stuff in, and they send samples to go with it, and this and that. And I don't need that many samples, and they're all perfectly good. So she made up lovely stuff. So it's sort of in the giving experience. We're going to give you stuff.
That's cool, and it gives you a chance to try out some new stuff. Have you guys seen any of the coverage about that really frightening, horrific story about that California woman from Redding, Sherry Papini, that was kidnapped and then released, and they're looking for 2 Hispanic women. They hacked off her hair. They branded her. It was just a truly horrible. Have you seen this?
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, really?
I have to admit, I think I like the fact that I've missed this.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things. She went missing jogging one day, and some of her hair and her phone and all this stuff was found, and we had the appeals, and when this stuff happens, they frequently will look at the husband first, like right straight away.
Yeah, I mean, not to be like stereotypic, but you just look at the percentages.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not anything against that particular person, but you just have to look at the odds.
Right.
No.
Well, and often murder comes from passion or anger.
Yeah.
And where do you get passion or anger?
Yeah.
Someone you know.
Yeah. Well, and she's home now, and it's still considered an open case, and they're looking for these 2 women, these that are the suspects in the case. But, there's been a little controversy about the fact that the husband, since her return home, has gone on television and discussed parts of the case that the police would have wished that he would have, details that they wish he would not have revealed. Okay. So I don't know. It's still looking a little fishy, but nonetheless, a truly horrific thing for this particular woman. And it's been pretty big. And yet I ask you to, and you haven't heard about it. So
no, I missed that. Yeah. Well, like I said, I've really edited down some of my social media, and I've been busy with stuff, so I haven't actually been online a lot. So I was going through there, but it's when stuff like that happens and someone is attacked, and it sort of makes the national thing. You're like, what's driving that? Because there's nothing that we need that can add to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I'm saying. So you have to admit, you hate the fact that you have to question motives.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot. Why do we know about this? This isn't someone who's still missing. This isn't someone. We're in Minnesota, wherever they are. There isn't a family member here where they, where someone may have visited, and there might be some leads. I mean, there's nothing about it.
Yep.
And you're like, what? But I suppose that it's distraction from other stuff.
Well, this one has the trappings of so many things that become huge nationally. She's a very pretty woman, and she's kind of a, you know what I mean?
White woman?
Yeah. Yep. Kind of one of those. But that said, so this is really kind of more of the setup for this other story. So with this cycling through the news, okay, I think this guy made a really, really particularly bad choice. It's bad enough by itself, but even with this so fresh in the news. So the former director of marketing for Fiat got himself in a big ass heap of trouble with the New York Police Department because he went on this 2-day bender, got himself in hock for drugs, maybe some gambling, and definitely an escort. So he claimed to be kidnapped, and there was a ransom amount that would have paid off the drug debt that he had accrued. When really he was cavorting with escorts, and this guy's name is Lapo Elkan. And it's just really not good. So yeah, he's
I mean, in this day and age of folks that have their cell phones and this and that, there's just not lying about shit. Those
hoaxes don't work like they used to.
Yeah, there is no, obviously the really, really big hoax is still, can work as, there's, big stuff out there that people are still believing, but then again, it's taken 30, 40 years of some lies to keep pounding. But this stuff, you know, they're going to find out immediately.
Well, it's like think of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You know, you try to make that movie now and there'd be someone Snapchat storying his entire adventure and everyone would find out.
The premise, you could not, it would be very difficult. I mean, it would be a very different movie, because you would not have that. Oh, sorry. That's anonymous. I love that movie. Yeah. But
that's a great movie. Mm-hmm. Bad idea, Lapo. And so, okay, 2 cafe related stories. I think this is pretty funny. Have any of you guys ever worked as a barista?
No,
I was a cook. Keep me away from the human beings. I love the human beings now.
Yeah.
But when I was in my teens, no. Not into it.
Well, I'm fascinated by I think that is not the easiest job, quite frankly, especially if you're good at it. But then you add the extra layer of the people that do the really artful stuff in the steamed milk, right? Mm-hmm. Well, this particular barista artist does the best sex positions for women as portrayed by latte art. And they're amazing. And it's a video, and I've got the link that we're going to put up.
Sorry, I don't
It's like, how do you do that? I mean, you got a finite amount of time that this is going to work out, and these are intricate.
Oh, I love this. I love this so much.
Yeah.
Oh, I cannot wait to see the pictures on this.
They're amazing. And you watch him do it. You see him actually do them.
I love a cup of coffee. I love awful coffee. I love good coffee. I love all the coffee in between. I love coffee.
Yeah.
Okay. But I don't like waiting for anything. So
you wouldn't wait for a lotus position topping on your latte.
But this, I was like, this I would wait for.
You gotta watch this.
This I would wait for.
This amused me for 40 minutes last night. I was like, wow.
I'm jealous. I don't drink coffee, and sometimes I'm like, God, I want a little cat in my cup, or I want the downward dog.
Well, in this case, you'll get a pussy.
Tower.
But, okay.
Yeah, I do see that when folks have played with that. And I'm like, yeah, at this point, you're not drinking some of those. That's just,
right.
Yeah, that's just,
right.
Food art for food art's sake. And
they
stuff
never
like that.
do anything fun to my rock star.
No. You just have extra gravity around it. Drop them all over the back room.
Oh, God, that's so sad.
We both had the dropsies this past weekend.
Oh, no shit.
We were just dropping shit all over the place.
The worst is when you drop your rock star and half of it spills and you're like, but obviously I need this caffeine because I managed to get it all over the floor.
You guys are funny. In other cafe-related news, the Blowjob Cafe is coming to London. Bradley Charvet wants to get this going in London. He's the one who's already started the Fellatio Cafe in Switzerland. And he's taken the theme from Thailand, has blowjob bars apparently. But this guy really wants this to be a 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. sort of thing. They'll have coffee. You can get a blowjob along with your pastry and your coffee to go. So come in, get your blowjob. Great start to your day. He thinks it's going to fly greatly in London. What do you think?
How is this legal? Because prostitution is not legal in, say, London, right?
Because here's the twist.
Oh, okay.
The blowjobs will be given by robots.
Oh, God, no.
That's how they're getting around it. I was dying to see if anybody was going to take the bait.
Well, no, I was
going to end so badly.
See, really, this is the best story with it. Okay, but the thing is that it's, once again, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure somebody here in the U.S., and I don't know what the rules are in Great Britain, could sue because it's sexist.
Yeah.
Where's your cunnilingus?
Yeah.
Where's your robot there?
Well, that's a good question. But here's the thing. I mean, there's so many things about this that disturb me. But they are looking at renting them versus buying them, because the type of robots that they're talking about are those ones that are $10,000 to $15,000. I mean, that's some serious fixtures for a storefront, wouldn't you say? So they want to rent them.
There's so many problems with it. My first being like health code violations.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. My second being, who's cleaning those robots between customers? Like, I worked at a skating rink And like, I'm just thinking of when I had to handle the rented skates. And they hopefully weren't putting their dicks in those. So, I mean, I make no guarantees. It got a little wild sometimes at Woodtail Roller Ring, but sorry, no names. It's great place. But yeah, that's problems. But although I feel the same thing with like the cat cafes and the dog cafes and stuff, I was like, I get that, but health codes. How does this work?
I know that some cat cafes have now opened up in the U.S. And I've always wondered, I'm like, where the cat walking across the table, but the litter box, and then that but I suppose if you go into the cat cafe, I guess you don't care.
Right.
I mean, I'm assuming the cats are not allowed in the kitchen or behind the counter. And I don't know how do they have people they hire with squirt bottles to stand at a certain line?
Good luck keeping a cat out of somewhere it wants to go.
My cat crawled into the cupboard the other day, and I had one of those pull-out drawer, shelves, and I went to push it back in, and it sort of went bounce. And I'm like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe too. I mean, and I haven't, gone online and looked at any menus, but I would think that in a cat cafe, maybe they're just serving stuff where it's not like fully plated meals and stuff too.
That's probably all, you've got your coffee, which you're making up right then. You've got your, you can keep everything under a cover. Mm-hmm.
But still, this blowjob, I don't know. And you're right, it is sexist because there is no Cunnilingus Cafe. Right. Mm-hmm. And honestly, it's got a better ring to it.
It does.
Yeah. It's got the alliteration thing going. Okay.
I just admit, there's going to be so many guys hopped up on caffeine, probably missing their dicks because the robots malfunctioned. They went all hell on them.
That's awesome. That's
Would you like a blowjob, Dave?
Okay. Would you like a blowjob with that? That's the big burning question.
Hopefully not burning.
No, burning would be bad.
And STDs.
It's gross.
Yeah, because we learned that some of the viruses can just last forever.
Yeah, what would MAP have to say about this?
Hep C. Did you hear that? 9 weeks last week when we had
I'm assuming that they better they better have a condom menu along with their robot menu.
Right, for sure, for sure. What's your take on Jennifer Lawrence, ladies? You guys like her?
I don't really have an opinion one way or another. I thought 13 going on 30 was sort of silly, but that was eons ago, right? Wasn't that her? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think so. Mm-hmm. I thought she's pretty good in the Hunger Games stuff. She was filming, she was on a show promoting a movie. She was talking about filming the Hunger Games on an island in Hawaii. And she was on this show called...
Wait a minute. Jennifer Lawrence? Mm-hmm. Am I getting I think I'm getting my Jennifers mixed up.
Yes. You said Hunger Games.
She's Katniss. She plays Katniss.
Oh, I'm getting my Jennifers mixed up. It was a different Jennifer that was on 13 going on 30. Older one. Yeah, it's an older one. This is too young. Okay, yeah, I've got my Jennifers mixed up.
Yep. You thinking of like Jennifer Grey?
Jennifer Garner, so I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So I think she looks like a teddy bear, not in a good way. Mm-hmm. Anyway, she's on the show talking about, and they were asking her about the Hunger Games, hugely successful franchise, of course. And did you see it? The one where
I saw one of them.
Okay, this one she was in a wetsuit, and you guys know that 5 minutes of a movie can take 14 hours to film, on a given day. And so they're in Hawaii, and she had an itch on her butt, so she was by this rock. And the story starts out with my butt nearly killed someone. She was up by this rock, so she's just kind of like a bear would, kind of rubbing her butt to kind of scratch the rock.
Like something itches in your back, you can't reach. You got your hands full. There's a door jam. Rub, 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 rub.
Yeah. One of the stones got loose in this rock pile, and it got loose and almost, in her words, killed the movie sound guy. It caused a little avalanche. But here's what she did not know, is that these are sacred rocks. Nobody told her that this was like...
You gotta tell for you.
Oh. So now she's caused this huge faux pas with her butt, with the rocks. And she said it was this huge dramatic deal. The Hawaiians were like, it's the curse. And I'm like, I'm your curse. I wedged it loose with my ass. I'm actually very sorry. But she really managed to culturally offend some people when she was really just trying to get a little bit of relief. And she had to, slink away in shame and all this other kind of stuff. What are your thoughts?
No, I like the fact that she what's really nice is that anyone could have done this. She's public figure, so it's going to be loud. People are going to hear about it. And she's like, yeah, I didn't know. I am sorry. What can I do to fix it? Because she seems like a fairly down-to-earth human being who is not being an arrogant ass about her ass,
Or if nothing else, she has a very, very carefully cultivated image of being a extremely down-to-earth human being.
Either way.
That's kind of hard to tell.
Well, she tries to play the lovable goof part. That's kind of her. That's kind of her deal. And so, in responding to some of the criticism, because she got griped at for not being more apologetic, and here's the statement that came back from probably her people. I'd like to remind you they were just rocks. Calling them sacred doesn't make them any more special than any other rock. Beyond that, accidentally offending anyone over their superstitions and cultural taboos is nowhere as offensive as self-righteously judging every little mistake others commit.
That was surprising statement.
That's a little cranky.
Because they doubled the hell down on that one.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, the fact that people would be continued to be upset over an accident is pretty ridiculous. But that statement's like, essentially the Hawaiian people are stupid for believing in these dumb rocks. Yeah. And that's a little surprising.
Well, that's
good. Now everyone's going to tweet about the statement they made.
And actually, it wasn't made directly attributable to her. It came out in the discussion, and it's likely the what I can glean from reading the whole thing is it looks like it came from her camp, not necessarily her directly. Like, leave her alone. She didn't mean it. It's not like she murdered somebody in the name of something. She made a mistake, and and sorry that the joke about the mistake offended you, but we'll see. I think she'll be fine.
Yeah,
I'm thinking she'll be just fine. Is she still dating the Coldplay guy?
I don't know,
but she was for a while. Paltrow's ex.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the conscious uncoupling of Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin.
Oh, there we go. I'm like, what's the name of that? Okay. I really despise the fact that there are certain things that my brain, holds onto, a little brain cells, and the things that I want to hold on to just fritter away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you forget the name of the singer for Coldplay, I don't think you're missing out on anything.
Are you not a Coldplay fan?
Nah.
I never thought...
I wonder what beige would sound like. Oh, but in a Coldplay album.
It's funny, though. Back when the song Yellow came out, I was still on the City's 97 morning show. And, it broke out. And everybody was like, oh, my God, this is the most unusual song that's ever come out. Whatever. I'm like, it's a dude doing falsetto. I never, ever thought that they would have the legs that they have.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I didn't really care. The song's okay. But I really do like some of the stuff that they've done in the years since, but I didn't think they had it in them. Go, Chris. So insurance, has made the news a lot, and insurance coverage, people are fighting about that. But Big Pharma is always in the news. This is a story completely about how many people are going without sex because the drugs that they need to be able to facilitate sex, they can't afford it. Check this out. I had no idea some of this stuff was so expensive. So without insurance, Viagra and Cialis, those are $50 a pill. That's triple what they cost in 2010. But this new stuff, the quote unquote female Viagra, that Advil stuff, $800 a month. $800 a month.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So a lot of people might get these things prescribed, but what they're saying is that they've got a rash of people showing up to pick them up and then not picking them up,
Yeah, they find out how much it is,
Yeah, and because, and when you think about it, the doctor doesn't necessarily know that either. They just give you the prescription. Ultimately, they'll hear about it, but not necessarily at the time.
I'm surprised I don't have I had an asthma drug that they handed me samples of, and then I got like a discount card from the company. I'm surprised if people are not picking this up, the companies are going to end up with some sort of discount card because they're going to want something.
Yeah,
right? And they need to get their their money back on this. But maybe there's enough folks that are.
Yeah,
because I know it's not. It's covered, but not covered. I think it used to be completely. Viagra used to be completely covered, but I'm not sure that it's covered by some insurance anymore.
Yeah,
it's going through there.
Well, just come to Fantasy Gifts. We got all the over-the-counter Viagra you need. Men and women. We got pills that work fantastic for both.
Well, they're working on this. There's generic versions of Viagra and Cialis underway. But the
do they come with generic bathtubs?
Good question. But they are talking about the fact the Viagra prescriptions has fallen 42% in the last 6 years for this very reason. And they're saying that, and this researcher is speaking out on this, saying couples in their 50s, 60s, and 70s are more sexual than they've ever been. So we need to address this. But I think, Megan, you had a really good idea too.
Yeah. Well, and I think that people are discovering that. Like, I can't even tell you how many customers come in and buy these pills on a weekly basis that stopped getting Viagra because they were $50 a pill. Really? So I think a lot of those Viagra customers are starting to realize that there's cheaper and probably more natural, I would say, because a lot of it's herbal. There's better, I won't say better, there's cheaper alternatives out there.
And you've had some good feedback on it, or
there's I blank on the brands because we have a couple different, that we rotate around the pills because it's difficult to get them in. They're actually very, very popular. Even our suppliers have a hard time bringing them in, but they have to be kept behind the counter because they get stolen without it.
They sell like crazy. Honestly, I feel bad sometimes for the clerks because we'll be out. Everyone has their own favorite. There's Stiff Nights and there's Black Rhino and there's Mambo is Hero and we just got One More Night and ASP and there's like all these different kinds and everyone has their favorite. And you have never seen a cranky customer like you have when a guy comes in and we're out of their favorite. Yeah, because we personally are murdering their erection. So there's riots if we're out.
I could probably have a store that just sold, just pills and lube.
Yeah, we take over a gas station. Shouldn't give out all our genius ideas. Can we edit this out?
Yeah.
But like I said, they folks want what they want. And, the same thing sometimes goes for lube. I mean, just, sometimes things sell faster or, you got a budget. So like, okay, well, we've got this in, but now it's time to bring this in and we rotate things around because, you want to have some sort of variety. But this is one thing that folks do now with the variety on.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that they were that popular.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it feels like every other sale. If I'm at a store and watching what's going on.
Really?
And it's guys in, their 20s to their 80s.
No kidding.
And women too. We do have a couple for women as well.
Wow. So who knew? Well, check it out. Definitely. So if you're into exhibitionism, not a problem. This couple is talking about they're in their 40s and they like to go to movie theaters and they only make sure that it's movies that nobody under 17 can get into. But they don't do actual sex, but they grope each other. And that's all fine. But they're blogging about it on a parent's site. And now they're upset that they're being called sex offenders. Really? What are you doing? Can you not find any place else or a more amenable group to...
Right. Blog about that on the swinger groups.
FetLife, something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or is this just another aspect of their exhibition? They go to the point and they'll look what we do. I mean, is that yet another layer?
Honestly.
God.
More than likely, but you got to, to some extent, you got to choose your audience. I mean, yes, if you're in the, the NC-17 movie or if you're in the R-rated movie, but the thing is that honestly, there are people that will bring their kids. I mean,
right.
And you've got all the, mind you, there's just all sorts of pearl clutching about all sorts of things, and every day. But I mean, if you're going to, dance all over the line, you're going to expect some pushback.
Yeah,
I mean, really, there are plenty of places and plenty of websites that you could share this with.
Write a letter. I don't know, Penthouse Forums or something.
There's so many different places you can put this.
Yeah. Just write a letter.
It was fun.
I think this is funny. This one strikes me as the quintessential case of somebody coming out saying something, hoping to get media coverage, and then for people like me to pick up the bait and talk about it. But a therapist named Dr. Andrew Smiler, which sounds like he's really looking to take people's smiles away. He's talking about 1 in 3 men masturbate every single day, and this is leading to sexual health issues. And he says it's their never-ending, unbridled access to porn. And he says it's leading to masturbation becoming 90% of their sexual orgasmic experience, causing long story short, inability to relate in relationships and, leading them to be more promiscuous. And he's leading a crusade. Can you believe this is happening in 2016?
Somebody has an the only thing he's leaving out is you're going to go blind or you're going to get hairy palms.
I kind of believe some of it.
Yeah.
Guys, I have discovered this while dating men who their formative years or a little later, I should say, I'm not grabbing the cradle that much. People who like in high school had porn or and I don't know if it's all guys, I'm sure porn helps, but I'm to speak specifically of the masturbation. Guys who masturbate too much, especially that masturbate without lube, like that's the only way they know how to get off now. Like really? I've had so many
set in their ways.
Yes, I was shocked by the amount of people who are unable to finish in what I guess and society would tell you is the normal manner, and they just have problems getting off because they're so used to it. No, it's like no, unless it's my dry hand in this one specific angle, it just doesn't work.
Wow.
And it is really, really frustrating.
Well, point taken.
Because I'm like, no. I'm doing the right things here. I'm certainly trying, I'm
pretty sure that existed long before people figured out how to film sex.
It's true. I think it might be more of a over masturbation problem, but I wouldn't be shocked if the ease of getting porn, if there isn't some correlation between the ease of viewing porn and the amount of masturbation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could find the Penthouse, and I mean, it never was that difficult to find it. But I suppose you've got the I mean, yes, you can find almost anything now on the internet, but I can't imagine that there are maybe a few more. But I just think that, you do anything the same way. It's like the same, is it any different than the folks that can only get off on feet or only can do it in the bedroom or only want to only can have an orgasm outdoors or, I mean, same thing there. I mean, somehow you've wired your brain to think one thing.
Sure. But I think if it's such a wide group, it might be like if, just guys from their a certain age group just can't come in unless it's their hand. I mean, that could be an issue much more than the small percentage of people who have like the foot fetish.
Well, certainly for if they want to have conceive a family. Because you're going to be paying an awful lot for IVF at that point.
Right. There's that. Right. I'm sure that there could be exercises. And we've had, like Callie Matsuhashi on. She's a therapist that deals with these things. But it's really weird that you might have to go and get professional help to shift yourself. Interesting point, which Megan really leads well into the next thing. If you Google this, there is like some really heated discussion right now about porn and sex addictions and their validity as addictions. And this is after the American Association of Sexuality Educators, Counselors, and Therapists came out and said, well, we don't know if they're really officially classifiable as official addictions. And there's a whole big long article, which we will absolutely have, posted on there. But they're going after their own industry and saying, look, a lot of these clinics and clinicians are taking a lot of money from vulnerable people and their families without offering a science-based approach. So it's not just a poo-pooing. They're saying, look, there could be some, charlatans out here taking advantage of people that might be better served by working on other problems.
Is any of it science-based, though? I mean, is Alcohol Anonymous
yes.
science-based?
They can figure out how your brain has been changed by things and how They do all the brain scans. They can see this happens. This part of the brain is lit up when you do this. This part doesn't light up. It does sort of stuff. And when you've and they've just the way that people react to almost anything. And I can see that if they haven't. This is a thing where you probably need more research because they can't, because folks freak out in the U.S. about sexual research, you can't say what's going on. So they're more than likely, there are folks just hanging up a shingle somewhere saying this and just going some of it might be right. Some of it might be common sense, but it's nice to have it backed up. Mm-hmm. And I think what these folks are saying is that if you can't back it up, you're going to hurt the industry and the people that really need help by if the stuff gets shut down or moved on or stuff like that, or folks not paying attention. There was a local clinics that were a guy that was handing out testosterone without without a lot of basis going through there, and he was shut down because he's just like you need there has to be something backing it up. It might be right, but figure out how to back it up and then go forward.
Okay.
That way.
Couple of Christmassy mentions here, people, and these are very fun. The Mall of America is getting the first ever Black Santa. Did you guys see that?
I saw, what I thought was fascinating was a couple of things. And one, I read it, and I went, oh, that's not, I like the fact that it took forever to get a person of color as, a Santa. And then I was the most fascinated over the fact that the Star Tribune had to turn off the comment section because people were being so pearl-clutching racist about it. And I'm like, I was more, and then we were talking about this earlier today. Then I'm like, okay, the next part of it is like, how did this writer not know that it was going to be, they have the individual, from what I understand, the individual reporter decides whether or not his or her a column is going to be available for comment, and they can choose. And then we decided that the whole thing was just a way to get this reporter's name out because they added the comments were horrific, and then they turned the comments off, and that became a big chunk of the story, more so than the Santa.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that part.
Yeah.
Well, you can check him out at the Mall of America, first one ever.
He's really adorable. I saw
he's
a picture.
Cute, yeah.
I have two friends that play Santa. And there's some of the most amazing guys I know. So if you're playing Santa, it is a skill that I
couldn't do it.
It's an amazing thing because I've seen some just wonderful Santas that just, and not only do they have to deal with the kids, but you got to deal with the obnoxious parents, and I think that skill level they have a good crew to deal with that. But the idea of having Santas are the folks that play Santa pretty awesome.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just hope there's no protesting at the mall. Because that would be difficult to try to you're taking your children to see Santa, and then you have to go through a horde of angry idiots with some picket signs and.
Well, I think the specialty Santa, and honestly, this is sort of it's not the whole time. That I think you've got over at the mall. You have a regular stand in line, and then you can make appointments too. Yeah, it's going through there, and I'm like,
they've got to have more than one Santa. I would think.
Oh yeah, they got
the place
plenty.
Is so huge.
I used to love I used to take my daughter to the Ridgedale had an amazing Santa, and he didn't wear the red suit, but he had on a comfortable pants and slippers, and he had on a plaid Christmas shirt and the suspenders,
cute.
And the red suit was hanging on a hook next to the chair, and there was a little log cabin. I don't know what they do anymore. It's been eons and eons since I've even set foot in the Ridgedale Mall, but I love the Santa over there.
Oh, very cool. Mm-hmm. We got a couple more quick holiday stories to blaze through today. Megan, we got the link for this. Not all of these are hilarious, but there are 4 naughty Christmas cards worth mentioning today. And my favorite number 1 pick is "When I Think About You, I Touch My Elf." Yes. Yes. And then there's one here. I think we can show that. It's Santa clutching himself saying, "I got your package right here."
Is that one? The artwork looks familiar there. I wonder if it's one we carry. Because we do have Christmas cards out in the stores.
Super. Okay. Mm-hmm. How about I'll visit your North Pole? Okay. And then Slay Me, SLEIG. So we got something for the little, BDSM crowd too. So those are kind of cute. Those are available. I thought this was funny for so many reasons, but I don't know why. I love the fact that this is taking place in Minnesota. See, everybody, unless you've been under a rock your entire life, has heard the song "Baby, It's Cold Outside."
Yeah.
And it's usually, there's so many great versions of it. And I'm always amazed at like the character, like just how well they can animate the song with their voices. You know what I mean? And there's some really amazing versions. But there's a couple here from Minneapolis found it very unnerving. So they redid the words, stressing the importance of consent.
Yeah.
And
I've had a lot of younger folks that I know in this day and age will listen to the song and goes, that's like a date rape song.
Yeah, it actually is.
You listen to the words. I said, yeah, the content. Yeah, in modern context, this is a horrific song. I'll still listen to it because I can separate portions of my brain. But when I did not listen to it, but I did see the headline and stuff like that, and I'm like, I was curious. I just didn't have a chance to click.
Well, and we've got the link, but there's another funny aspect to this. And it's like, oh, I ought to say no. What's in this drink? I really can't stay. And the guy's like making her stay. So that's that. If you don't know the words off the top of your head, that's what that's about. But what's kind of funny is that the writer that wrote this version of it said that when they interviewed these two, and their names are really hard to say. So it's Lydia Liza and Josiah Lemansky, I guess, would be their names. But they came up with it when they were sipping pomegranate LaCroix, which we all know what that is. Megan's drinking something like that right now.
It's delicious.
And yeah, it's one of the curate ones. But the author got off on this whole tangent about what's pomegranate LaCroix. I got to find some of that. I mean, like, and they took this whole left turn. So it's kind of a funny article. But yeah, so I thought that was a pretty interesting thing, and it originates right here in a very musical town. By the way, have either of you guys been to Paisley Park?
No. I mean, I enjoyed Prince's music, but I don't really have any. I mean, I drive past it. I have friends that live out there, so I sort of wave at it when I drive past it, or I go to the Arboretum. But it has been something that I said, that I must go before or after, his death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, because I just got an invitation to go to an open house. And so I don't think I'm going to be able to pass this up, especially since we lost Prince this year. And so it's kind of weird. I've never, really thought about it. But when I was looking at all the things that were going to be, kind of going on. So I think I'm going to be doing that next week.
Well, I know that you've, with the interest you've been in, you've been at a lot of open houses, a lot of openings, a lot of things. I'd be curious to see what if you think that it was done, if it was done. I mean, they did it pretty fast.
Yeah.
Did they get it? Did they at least get it mostly right? There's no way you're going to get everything right in the short amount of time that they turned it into a museum.
Yeah.
But did they get it mostly right?
I'm curious. I mean, I really am, because it was just, I'm still reeling from, I mean, I'm not as surprised about David Bowie. He was far beyond Prince in years and everything else, but the loss of Prince really hit me hard this year because it was such an amazing shock. And I just think he had so much to do. And honestly, you guys, I cannot look at the stories about what's going on with his estate because it's so sickening. It's just awful.
I will not, there are certain things that I don't give any, I will not click on certain stories. I don't want to encourage people to write more of these stories.
Well, you know what it is?
and so I have to admit, though, there are times when I still get the actual physical paper.
Okay.
And then
how retro of you.
Yeah, I love it. Well, it's got the comics in it.
Okay.
There was a great one about nagging the other day. I'm like, woohoo. And because I'm a really good nagger. So I just refuse to, there are just certain things I'm like, no, I don't click. I mean, when I'm feeling like crap, I occasionally will go on these, top 20 things that someone did at a bachelorette party that never should. I mean, I'm not, but I know what I'm going into there.
Yeah.
But if it's about Kardashians, or if it's about something lurid about someone's famous death, only it's like I'm like no. But okay, if it's actually in the printed newspaper, my eyeballs go over it.
Yeah,
and I'll admit that it does.
Yeah,
I'm not completely immune to it.
Well, it's not the people that are making claims to the estate that are so sad. It's the fact that because he did not make the proper preparations, or any for that matter, it's very likely that very significant things that I would guess I don't know him, but would have been near and dear to his heart, such as all the music in the vaults that have not been released. Stuff like that may have to get sold simply to pay the estate taxes. And these may be things that he didn't want anybody to see for whatever reason, but we'll never know. And that just breaks my heart. You know what I mean? Because we have no idea what he wanted because he didn't tell anyone. And so,
got to get a will. I mean, not to be morbid, but a will is not a morbid thing. It is something that, you're gone, you can't do jack.
Yeah.
But the people that are behind you have to deal with this crap. So why would you give them the gift of making it easier?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a single parent. I took care of this shit before my kid was born. This stuff is laid out.
Yeah.
Everything. It's going through, this happens here, this goes there. I took care of this stuff. And I mean, a lot of times it's not that different. I mean, you can handwrite something, and just to have something down. So they know, at least you have some wishes if it goes through that. It's not going through there. It's frustrating.
Okay, we're going to come back to the life portion of the program now. Sorry about that. I really was curious if you guys were, so I'm going to go. I don't know if I can't remember what day it is, but it might be after our next show, but I'll let you guys know. Next week, we've got a couple of guests that have got some strange schedules. So we may have somebody surprise us next week in the studio and maybe not. There's a lot going on, but until then, thanks for listening. Check us out. Definitely check out the Cyrillic. Google the Great Northern Sex Cast and see what you can find.
And I have one thing. Fantasy Gifts is a sponsor of the City Pages Cocktailian that's happening this Thursday over at the depot in Minneapolis. And so we're going to have a table there. It sounds like there's about a zillion booze distributor folks that are doing that. It looks lovely. And so we're going to be there. So if you're curious about, I'm pretty sure that Liz, who does our event stuff, is going to be bringing some of the sparkly stuff because it's the holidays.
Oh, that'll be fun.
And a prize wheel.
And a prize wheel will be there, and it will go towards their charity. So there'll be stuff that you can win. So if you were hemming and hawing on whether or not you wanted to go get some little tasty beverages, we're going to be there.
What time does it run
I'm not sure what's going through there. We'll put the link up to the cocktail.
Okay, I'll have to look because I have a condo board meeting at 6:00, but maybe I can scamper over after. It's not far away. Thanks for listening, everybody. Check us out online at the Great Northern Sex Cast. See you next week.
Bye.
Yeah, see you next week.